Welcome everyone to this episode of the Mortgages by Gretchen show, where I talk to real people in the field of real estate who are not only experts, but they are very generous and willing to share their knowledge and their wisdom with us here today. The goal of the show is for you to gain some information and some tips to help you with your goals in owning real estate and to take some of the guesswork out of what to do or who to call to guide you in the process. And today I have Mellisa Thornton with me. Mellisa is an administrative assistant with the Mortgages by Gretchen team, and I have the great pleasure of working with Mellisa every day. She is phenomenal. I met Mellisa for the first time when she applied for the position of administrative assistant with me, and which I had posted on Indeed, and she's been above and beyond amazing for myself, for the customers, and the team. So Mellisa, please tell us a little bit more about yourself and what you do and who you help.
Sure, thank you. It's been an absolute pleasure working for you, I have to say that, and being part of the team. Prior to joining the Mortgages by Gretchen team, I worked in insurance in a corporate management position for about 15 years. And my department was outsourced, and at that time I started to think about what was really important to me and what my goals were going to be for the rest of my life, I guess. So I have 2 children and I'm married, and one of the things that was really important was being available to my children or for my children as they went, to and from school or appointments or whatnot. And so I was looking for something that I could use my experience, my skills, my knowledge, and then also be able to maintain that work-life balance that everyone is always looking for. And I was so lucky to find you and find the virtual admin role. And that's kind of where we're at now, right? Is that I work from home and I have the best of both worlds, I think.
Excellent. Thank you very much. I will add that you are a contractor with me. You've had other customers that you've worked with, which is why you actually you're not an employee, you are a contractor, so you are self-employed.
Yep.
So you made a transition from being an employee to being an entrepreneur, virtual assistant. You did video editing, you do other things as well. What would you say are the benefits and the results for you and your family of being self-employed?
I think in the beginning it was a sort of a difficult transition to go from that sort of corporate mentality, the Monday to Friday, 9 to 5, have a lunch hour, have a break, extra benefits or, paid time off or that kind of thing. And the more and more I've gotten accustomed to, I guess, owning my own business and being self-employed, the more and more flexibility there is around it. So, some of the benefits are I'm able to drop off and pick up my children every day from school. I'm able to make it to most appointments. I'm able to keep up with some of the housework because I'm here. So I throw in a load of laundry, before the phone rings or before something needs to happen. There's some, added tax benefits. I am home, so I don't have any commuting. I don't spend an hour and a half in the car anymore. And I feel more mentally present with my family because I am here. Sometimes it's a balancing act of I'm in a meeting and no, I can't get you a snack right now. But having the freedom to, I guess, choose what I want to do and when I want to do it is definitely a plus for myself and my family and my business.
Excellent. I would add from my point of view, you bring so much to myself and this business that goes beyond our original scope of what the position was going to hold. Yeah. So you've really helped me grow, my business grow. You're helping the customers. And I see that as, I don't know, in the corporate world that might be available depending on who you work for and what type of person is your boss and those sorts of things. But to me, I'm thinking, that might be a little more unique in a sort of self-employed small business position.
Yeah, absolutely. With a corporate, I guess a corporate job, there's, the ranking of, you have your boss and your boss has their boss and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera, up the chain, right? And to get things done or implemented, or, to have sort of, there's, I suppose, like a set of rules that you have to follow to, get a new process created, or, speak with an employee, or hire an employee, or, that kind of thing. And when you're self-employed, or, working together in a smaller, non-corporate environment, I suppose, I feel very free to share my ideas. I feel very, uh, free is, I don't know, there's another word. I feel like I'm able to contribute in a more meaningful and successful way, to make this specific business better, right? Whereas in a corporate world, it felt like I was a cog in the wheel. Whereas here I feel, and I know I'm making a difference when I speak to the customers, or when I'm speaking to a lender, or I'm chatting with you about, our next upcoming exciting thing we're going to do. I think it's important to be able to sort of share my ideas and share what I think, and bounce off each other, and figure out what success is.
Yeah, I love it. So would you say, are there any pitfalls that people can try to avoid when making that transition into self-employment, or tips on how to succeed in that transition?
Like I said in the beginning, it took a little bit of getting used to, I think, because I was so conditioned to 9 to 5. So at 5 o'clock, I was kind of, mentally done working. And that was something I sort of had to talk myself through, that just because it's 5 doesn't mean it's time to be done. So there are some times when I, will take a break in the middle of the afternoon to, go out for lunch, or, do an errand and whatnot. But being disciplined to go back to work was definitely something to get used to. Couple of other things is a dedicated workspace. When I first started, I wasn't quite sure whether I was going to be, working on my kitchen table, or working from my couch, or whatnot. So I have a dedicated office that when I go down to the office, I'm working. And so that was definitely something. Getting up and getting dressed and making sure like I'm going to work, right? So that definitely did some things for my mental thought process around it, right? I don't miss the commute by any means. The commute down the stairs to the office is quite nice. And I would think that, you have to create in your mind some sort of separation, that work is work and home is home. And even though you're doing both in the same place, sometimes even at the same time, you have to figure out what your priorities are and then stick to those. And sometimes that can be challenging, like COVID and having 2 children who did not go to school for 6 months was definitely sort of a challenge. But, we sat down, and if mommy is in the office, she is working like she's not here. And so setting some boundaries for my family and setting some boundaries for myself was important. And some of it was a learning, and some of it was just from the beginning.
Yeah, and I'll add for anyone who's not aware that you and I have always worked virtually.
Yep.
We've never, pre-COVID, it was just always the arrangement. And I personally find it awesome and allows for a lot more focus. But we have our regular Zoom meetings and text and phone calls as needed.
Yeah, absolutely. And technology allowed that. So a lot of people, my husband or friends of mine, when COVID first started, were, I guess, introduced into the work from home office. And, people are calling and chatting and checking in. And I'm like, it's kind of business as usual. Like nothing was really different for us because we've always, been in separate locations, but the experience for the customer is seamless. I hope that they don't know, not that it's a secret, but just if they need me, if they need you, we're available no matter what.
And how, maybe give some specifics, like certain things that you do to make the work with the customer, the work with me, the work with the lender successful when it's all virtual
Well,
or by email
yeah.
or whatever other
Yeah.
method.
So I guess one of the things that I, learned, and that probably very early on in my career, is time management is of the essence. So going in and prioritizing first thing in the day of, what types of things are urgent versus what I can respond to later. We
And
have,
how do you do that? Like, what's your method?
I don't know. I guess I weigh it all out and figure out, sometimes we chat about what kind of needs to be done in a priority when things are, really busy. Sometimes I am working away on my own and I will block time in a calendar to say I have to get, this X task done. And sometimes it's I'm in the middle of something, but a customer calls, and really that's our number one, right, is our customers. And so if somebody needs something from me, then I need to deliver on that. And if I have to work a little later, if I have to work a little extra, if I have to work on the weekend, if I have to, I feel like I need to do what needs to get done because I want the customers to have the best experience and to get to the end result of them getting their home or the money that they need to, pay off some debts or refinish their basement or, whatever it is that they're needing. I feel like their needs take a lot of precedence in organizing my day.
Yeah. And how do you find the system you and I use is Salesforce, which allows us to communicate? It's the CRM database program, and that kind of guides our tasks and our transactions and our both for working with customers as well as non-customer things like marketing, sales, planning. I guess any ideas or tips or comments about using Salesforce or a CRM system?
I think I adore Salesforce. I had a little bit of experience with it prior to joining you, but not in the same capacity. I will say that Salesforce definitely has a huge library of training. So if there was something that I wasn't quite sure of, they have a fabulous resource where I can go and look it up and watch a little video and go, oh, okay, now I know how to do this, or I can figure it out. Definitely keeping it up to date and inputting as much data as possible. I'm a big fan of analytics, and I like being able to look at the bigger picture and say, okay, over the last 5 years, we've had this, we've had our best lender, or, we've had repeat customers. And I think it helps maintaining that database, definitely helps maintain the relationships with our customers, because once they get a mortgage, that's not really the end of our relationship with them. That's sort of the beginning. So it gives me the ability to be able to reach out a year later to, happy mortgage anniversary, to check in at the 3-year mark and say, hey, is everything good? Have you had a life event? Is something going on? Can we help you with something? And then also be able to, 5 years or 4 years when the mortgage term is up, be able to reach out to them and say, hey, let us help you again, so that we're able to I guess keep that relationship alive and keep our customers satisfied. So the CRM piece of it is a major part of what I do every day, is keeping it up to date and making sure notes are accurate and communicating back and forth with you of a priority or an update, or you know, I need you to look at this, or you need me to look at that. And so I think that's imperative, especially working virtually.
Yeah. And I'll mention too, we have a document portal, which is a big part of what we do since our business is very document heavy.
Yes, it is.
Yes. And we've recently implemented a new one called Door.
Yeah.
And I find, this digital technology is amazing when you're not seeing people face to face. It's a great tool. So,
Yeah.
and
we've been very lucky. I think there's been for us especially, and COVID or not COVID, but I guess during COVID, all of the systems and all of our virtual ability to, go from the start of, a new client reaching out to us to fully funding a mortgage, and not having to, drive from house to house, or not having to print paper. So we're saving the environment, or, being able to communicate electronically with our clients, with our lenders, with each other, I think is a huge blessing.
I agree. For people who are getting a mortgage, what would you suggest they do to help the process go as smoothly as possible for them so they have the best experience possible?
I think, part of our job is to set the expectation. So I think when someone's first getting a mortgage, having that first conversation with you to understand what sort of the expectation is, that we are going to ask for quite a lot of documents. And it's not just because we want to know, it's because the lender's asking, or there's reasonings behind why someone's wanting to know something about your situation. I would say having a good organization system at home for your own documents is probably, whether you're getting a mortgage or not, is probably really important. Knowing where all your tax documents are, knowing where your mortgage or your house documents are, knowing how to get bank statements, or any sort of documentation. And then I think another big piece of it is using the technology that we're providing to you. With our new document collection system, Door, it's a secure way to transmit some of your most sensitive information. So working with those types of things, even though it is a new system to a client, it is really important to sort of follow our lead, I suppose. And then if you're stuck, or if there's any, something's not making sense, or you don't understand why we're asking for something, then calling and just, that's my job, is to make the document collection part not as painful as it is. And I am happy to, walk through, talk through, discuss, or, receive documents. But I definitely think the secure portal part is a very important piece. And we do see a majority of our clients using it, and there are some that, prefer the old-fashioned drop off the paper, or take a picture, or send a text, or send an email. And I'm always worried about the, cybersecurity of that. And so I think that would be definitely my biggest piece of advice, is to follow our lead. And maybe if the system isn't what you're loving, then definitely give me a call, and I'm happy to walk someone through it.
Yeah, and you're an expert, so.
Yeah, kind of. Yeah. I've done it a few times.
You're very good at it. That's awesome. So what would be your last piece of advice for Canadians right now?
Yeah, this is the question that stumped me the most. So I think there's two things that I think are really important for Canadians. I think number one, we should always be proud to be Canadian. And during, this pandemic, we have really shown strength in our country, and that makes me very proud. So I think that we need to continue to demonstrate to the world, why it's amazing to be Canadian. And then I think that if anyone is thinking about buying a house, paying off some debt, or looking to, go purchase a new vehicle or finish their basement because they really like working from home, they should definitely give us a call so that we can help them out and get them the money that they need.
Excellent. Well, I really appreciate your sharing about yourself, your business, how you work with people, and how people can have the best experience. So, and I'm grateful to you every day, Mellisa. You are a great person and friend and business partner in this Mortgages by Gretchen business. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for being amazing and awesome and fabulous to work with. And thank you for teaching me and hiring me. I'm so grateful for that.
You're very welcome. Thanks so much, and till next time.